Well, I'm glad I spent the extra time to get that last remaining little bit of flashing out of there when they installed the sliding glass door system, because there's some dips and doodles in here. This is low right here. There's something here, a big old gouge. Here's that big bolt hole that I got to fill up. And along here, here's another divot. Down in there, here's another one. This was all kind of bad, and now I can take a look at that. You know, this looks a little suspect right in here. I'm not gonna peel up too much, but that's kind of how I had to do it all the way along. All the way along here. And see how I had to do it right in there. This is that OSB plywood. It comes 4x8 sheets, tongue and groove. You've seen it at the hardware store. It's just wafers of bits and pieces, all sandwiched together. All sandwiched together on here. Shavings of different things when they've at the mill, when they cut 2x4s and 4x4s and big beams and all kinds of stuff, all the scrap stuff, their shavings and stuff go all together, and then they make this plywood out of that. They use it on roofs and on walls for shear walls and siding, you know, the underlayment before stucco and all that stuff. They even have it even comes 4x8 sheets with 1 1/8 for flooring instead of 3/4. Then you can space your floor joists out further, because the 1 1/8 tongue and groove, man, that stuff is stout. We used to use that on floors. That is heavy too, but hey, this stuff is 3/4. And see, now I can kind of go along that, clean it, vacuum it out. Another good reason why I got my vacuum here, right? I can vacuum that out, and also I'll reach down in here in case anything's kind of falling in there. I was trying to be careful. I could have put some craft paper across there, a little piece of wood or something like that, but I was being careful, and I cleaned out all those to begin with anyways, and there was all kinds of cobwebs and dust and carpet shavings and all, you know, just all kinds of things. So if you've got floor registers like this, it's always a good thing to check them. When's the last time you checked it? Probably never, huh? It's just something you just don't think about. And then you can clean out all that junk, and you can clean your register fins, because maybe they're really super dirty. And then you can spray some cleaner down in there. You can wipe that all out after you vacuum everything. You can make those looking nice. Spray some Febreze down in there or something. Put a couple sticks of something down there. Good smelling sticks. Who knows? But in any case, even if they were going to install carpet with pad, they had some tack strip down there, and I pulled that up. I'm glad I did, and didn't just leave it there, because I wanted to get all that stuff out and see all that kind of stuff. I can fill that up, but as it is, we're going to be putting a vinyl planking flooring down. This is 3/8 oak planking from before, and I'm going to pull all this stuff out, and we're going to install vinyl floor planking, and it's going to look really cool when it's done. But that stuff is only like 5/16 of an inch thick, and I don't want any questions about anything along this edge. And now I can probably seal it, you know, put a bead of caulking down there too, and that kind of thing. And that's why I'm cleaning up all those bulges that you had seen on this floor from before. I wouldn't have had to have done as good of a job had I have decided to install carpet with pad back in this area. But initially, you saw all those big bulges and stuff. They just threw the carpet pad right over it. I would never do that. I would have just gotten the high edges where they had jerked some flooring out from before, and I wouldn't have done as good of a job, but hey, I thought since they're putting vinyl planking down and it's only 5/16 thick, I don't want to see any bulges in there or anything. And I'm gonna patch most of these areas with my Fix-It-All. If I don't want to leave this like this if it's low right there, and then if there's a joint that happens to go along there, could there be a chance of it depressing as you're walking on it, or something like that? Maybe, depending where all these gouges are. And so I'm going to do the extra mile. I'm going the extra mile because I got plenty of time before these guys come. 2.5, almost 3 weeks from now. Plenty of time for me to paint all the ceilings, all the walls, all the baseboard, all the doors and frames and all that kind of stuff. And so I knew I was going to have to do a little bit of work on this. I'm going to have to kind of watch my time and be careful not to overextend my stay. I don't want to get too minute with any repairs, but I knew it was going to have to be dug out sooner or later before the flooring guys get here, right? So I'm trying to do everything, and I'm sure I'm going to have enough time for everything. Worst case scenario, if I don't have enough time, then I would start having to think, what could be done later? What could I wait on? You know what I could wait on? I could wait on the bathrooms, up in the second floor, the master bathroom and the guest bathroom. I could do those at the end if I really had to, you know what I mean? So, and I've got the garage to paint too. I'm going to paint the garage, at the last, obviously. And if the flooring guys need to come in before that, and if I need to do something else, hey, we can move in before I even paint the garage if we want. And then obviously I'll have to slide the stuff out, whatever we got left in the garage, and then repaint the garage later. But, different things like that. Think about your time and schedule it, and, figure it out. And you can save some money if you do things yourself. Here's another thing to think about when you've got the tack strip. Let's say, obviously I decided to take the tack strip out for a few different reasons that I've told you from before. But now it makes it a lot easier when I sweep off the floor and stuff. I can get right underneath that edge nice and easy with the broom, can't I? But if you decide to leave your tack strip, I would still try to sweep in there the best I could. Then that's when the vacuum comes in with the nice pointy vacuum attachment to get all the different things that are out from underneath that ledge, that lip, down by the floor. Okay, that's if you're leaving your tack strip down. And then even when I get done with this, do I want to be anal enough to run my vacuum with the attachment on there? And I probably will, because I've got a trick. I think I have a trick that I want to show you when I get ready to do that. So keep watching. So I thought, you know what? I'll just bring it up at this point. If you're gonna save your tack strip and you think your tack strip is okay, or a few of the rooms you've decided to pull the tack strip, and other rooms you've decided not to pull the tack strip out, I'm gonna sweep up all this floor from scraping up all this different stuff off the floor and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to paint over this. I like to keep my job sites nice and clean. When people come in, they don't see all this stuff and think I'm a rag muffin or something. And so I'm going to sweep it all up and make it look acceptable. And then I can kind of check out different areas and see if I need to do anything else to the floor. At this point, I'm not gonna work much more than just sweeping everything up and throwing it away. And then I'll do it once over. Like I said before, I'll check for squeaks, I'll check for nails protruding up, different areas where maybe the nails need to be pounded down all the way, maybe a few places to put screws, obviously, where I find squeaks. And I found one other squeak too that I wouldn't have found had I not been aware of it. And so I'll take care of that too. And I'll show you how to fix squeaks on a floor on another episode. All right, back to work I go. Well, that's all I have for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.